Hello, and thank you so much for joining me tonight. I'm sorry I'm quite late, and it's because we were out having too much fun today. I thought I'd share with you some of my quick holiday photos, just a few photos to share with you what's been going on while I've been in Canada. We are heading back in only 2 days now. So we're going to leave tomorrow morning to go again to the mountains, which is what all these photos are here. And so sadly we have to say goodbye to my mom tonight, which is quite sad, and we're all quite emotional about it. But we've had such a great time with her. Really enjoyed our trip. We went to Jasper, took mom up the tramway. Kids and my husband went for a little wander, got some nice photos at the top of the mountain. We saw lots of wildlife, nothing overly exciting. I'm hoping that I'll be able to share some photos of bears with you guys, but I have got to see some first. We saw lots of elk and some deer, and just had a lovely family fun time. It was quite exhausting. We did have to push mum around everywhere in her wheelchair, so we got a really good workout. But mum was grateful. She hasn't been to the mountains in many, many years, and this is probably her last time. So we had a lovely little family holiday. It was literally a day trip, so we drove almost 4 hours there. Drove for the whole day, stopped, got out, walked loads, and then drove all the way back. So left at 6:30 in the morning, got home at 11:30 at night. Long day, but really worth it. We of course went to the cinema twice because here in Canada they have reclining seats, and I did fall asleep in the movie. It was so comfortable. We also wandered around St. Albert loads, which is where my mom lives now, in Canada. So we took a bunch of photos, went to some wetlands. This is a cool little place in St. Albert. I spent quite a bit of time here. It was a windy day. It was lovely. Then we went to the TELUS World of Science. We got to look at DNA. We also went to the IMAX theater and learned about dinosaurs, which is like awesome. I love dinosaurs. I have such a fascination with them. Kids got to do loads of interactive stuff all over the museum. We went and saw an Apollo special museum showcase. And then today, why I'm late, is we went to the farmers market this morning in St. Albert, and it is massive, absolutely massive. And it was 36 degrees today, so we got a bit sunburned, but we had a really good time. We had snow cones, we had popcorn, we had sausages, we had all kinds of things. It was great. So we're going to move on to some scrap card making. Tonight's scrap card making is with any size scraps, any scraps you've got, any. So leftover die cuts, annoying paper pads that you bought that are way too small because you didn't read the size right, like these. Your scraps pile, leftover from paper pads that you've cut down. Maybe you've done like a project and you've just got all these little strips left over, tiny, tiny strips. Perfect for those. Also perfect if you've got die cuts like this and you've got your little die cuts left over, keep them. Tonight's video, we are going to make some cracking cards using all these kind of methods. I'm going to share with you 3 different ways you can do this project and ways that you can use up those scraps. So getting started, I'm going to use some dies. If you've got punches, you could use those. Again, you could take a bowl, you could trace a bowl and cut yourself a circle shape. Or you could just go for a bog standard square or rectangle, whatever you feel like doing. I'm using shape dies because I want a fun little shape on the front of my card, but you by all means don't have to do that. So my first one, I'm going to just do a piece of white card, and for my heart, I'm going to do this shiny pearlescent blue. So I've die cut those 2 out and they are ready to go. I will recut that circle and I'll show you why in a minute. I went ahead and pulled out all my blue shades of scraps. So I went through that whole big pile, got all those little blues out, and those are what I'm going to use. So all I'm going to simply do is take these scraps and just chop them down into random pieces. I'm just cutting them up into all kinds of little itty bitty bits. Some of them were too big in the end, so I'm going to chop them down a bit more. I really didn't need this many, but I wasn't sure what I was doing yet, and I wanted to just have plenty. So there's all my scraps, and you can see what I mean here. Just literally any scraps you've got, that's going to work. This first one, I'm going to glue them all on using liquid glue. You could use a glue stick, that would work really well. Be nice and quick and easy. I'm going to share with you another method in a second. This is great if you've got a beautiful background piece of card that you've used, or maybe you've used decorative paper as your little background image and you want to keep that showing through. We're doing sort of a mosaic tile type of thing. So if you want to see your background, this is perfect for that. It is a bit more faffy because obviously you're having to hand glue everything down. But to be honest, this only took me maybe probably about 10 minutes to stick all these little bits down. I have sped this up 8 times the speed, but I didn't want to bore you with sticking all these little bits down. Now I'm going for all over the place and off the edge because I want it to look natural and flowing. Therefore, I don't want all those pieces tucked inside that heart. So I am going over the edge and sticking them down and trying to fill in every little gap. And I've got lots of little strips, big strips, you know, just kind of filling in those gaps and spaces, but leaving that background a little bit showy through-y. So then I can trim off the excess using a pair of scissors. You could take your die and you could cut your die around it again, but I found this much easier and a bit more precise. Your die could slip in your die cutting machine and give you a bit of a wonky edge. But when you're done, you've got this gorgeous mosaic looking tile ready to go on the front of a card. Now for this one, I went ahead and took that paper pad that I accidentally bought because it was really small, and I took one sheet of every color. And they are great because they're like in a rainbow gradient. So I thought, well, I'm going to just stick with it. So I decided at first to just choppy them. And then I realized actually if I just choppy chop one edge, then I can go along with my scissors and just cut them all off. And then I get a nice little pile of that color. So I did that with every single sheet of color, and I kept those piles separate to make sure that they didn't get mixed up. And just kind of tucked them all along my desk. You'll see a zoomed out view. Here we are. They're all chopped up nice and easy, but I've got this circle and I thought I don't feel like sticking all those down. I've got a lot of colors to get through. I don't want to stick those all down with glue. So the next method that we're going to do is we're going to take some double-sided sticky tape. Now, if you have not got double-sided sticky sheets, then just use your double-sided sticky tape. Whatever rolls you've got, you can just run those along your piece of cardstock and die cut it out. No one's going to see those strips from that tape very easily, so you could easily do that. I love these double-sided sticky sheets. These ones here I've got from Alina's Crafts in China. Lots of shops sell them, so just take a look around. I'll link these ones down below for you if you want to get these. And they are just double-sided sticky tape. That's all it is. So you stick one side down. I'm going to flatten it out nicely with my bone folder, make sure there's no bubbles in there. Take my die, stick it on top and cut it out. Now I did go ahead and stick all these down. You'll see how I did it in a minute on my next one. But I stuck them all down just in the same order of those colors. Have all those left over, so I went a little overboard. And now we can go ahead and trim off the excess of these little tiles. Again, I said that you can take your die and recut it and get rid of that edge, but I thought I'm just going to take my scissors, just as quick and easy. Obviously, you're going to be thinking, well, you've gone ahead and stuck all those tiles down, and now your middle bits are all sticky. So I've used white cardstock. You could use colored cardstock if you want. It will still show through. And we're going to fill in those holes with glitter. This is iridescent glitter, so it is clear and see-through and very shiny. So you could use a colored cardstock underneath your mosaic tiles if you want, but I figured I had so many colors going on, I wanted to keep it white. So all I'm going to do is sprinkle on my really fine iridescent glitter and just rub it in with my fingers. You could rub it in with your bit of release paper from that little background bit like this if you want, or you could take your fingers, rub it in nice and firm. I found with the release paper, the glitter did stick to it quite a lot because it got very staticky. So in the end, I found using my fingers much better. I give it a good hard flick from the back, and that gets rid of all the excess glitter off the front of the card. And you get this gorgeous mosaic little pattern with that glitter behind. Now, if you've got some of these kind of layering dies, this is a collection I got to design with CraftStash. It's still available on their website, and I think it's on offer, so I'll link that down below. But I had all these little bits that were left over, and they're really cute and really pretty. They're all the little petal pieces that popped out from all the cards that I made with these dies. So I decided I would go ahead and use those die cutouts for my card. So I've got the sticky back paper already on my flower, and that's the solid image that comes in it. There's a set of 4 dies, one solid, and then the other 3 are layering. I also decided to take some of my green scraps and cut out some green bits because I'm going to do the stem in green and the top in pink, so it looks like the flowery kind of colors. So I just took some of those scrap green ones that you saw at the beginning, and I die cut out of that and kept all the inside bits. So to keep this from getting a hot sticky mess and getting your hands all stuck where it shouldn't be stuck and getting fluff stuck to it or whatever the case may be, I always do a little bit at a time. So I take back that top bit, pull it down, so I've got only the sticky revealed at the top. Then I take my DIY pickup tool, which is a chopstick with some blue tack on the end, and this took me minutes, hardly any time at all. You're just going to take your little blue tack tool, pick up a piece, and stick it down. Pick it up, stick it down. And as I worked with it, I got faster and faster and faster. And this took no time at all. So as you can see, you're just going to grab them. The little pokey tool, picky up tool, makes it nice, quick and easy. And I was just trying to make sure that none of the same color were touching. Did my best to do that. And then again, I made sure I was going off the edge of my flower so that it looked nice and flowy. And I used all the different shapes that came as the die cuts out of there, not just the petals, but you could do just the petal little looking pieces, and that would look quite pretty as well. So when I'm done that, I've got that top bit done there. I'm going to keep my release sheet on my flower and just trim off that top bit that I peeled off. So I don't want to expose any of the stem yet. I'm going to keep that all covered up because I want to do that green. Now, because I've done the pinks on the top, what you can also do is you can also take some colored glitter. So I've got this box of Arteza glitter, which I've had for about 4 years now. It's fantastic. There's a few bottles missing because they're somewhere in my craft room. But I'm going to do a purple as the background on the top of my flower to go with the sort of purpley pinks. So again, same thing. I'm just going to rub it round, and then you can see that glitter shining through. And then I'm going to do the exact same as I did on the top, but for the bottom. And I'm going to go ahead and stick on those greens all over the bottom ones. And then I will add on my green glitter into the middle of the bottom bits. So when you're all done, you get this gorgeous mosaic looking flower. So really versatile way to use up those scraps. You don't need big pieces of cardstock. You can use all those bits that you get out of your die cuts, which is great because everything is costing so much money. Sometimes we use the most beautiful glitter cardstock for our die cuts. And then we think, what are we going to do with all these bits of glitter that you've lost, when you die cut it out? You can save them all in a nice little pot, and you can make some mosaic cards. And that way you get more bang for your buck. You use up all those scraps, and you can make some gorgeous cards using what you've got in your stash in your craft room. So there's the flower. And now we can have a look at what all of them create. So here's the 3 that we've done. The one where we've glued it on with glue ourselves, one with clear glitter, and one with colored glitter and excess die cuts. And then once we're done, we can go ahead and assemble some cards. So for this one, I used some holographic card and some big oval dies and stuck it to the front of a card. I think I popped it up on some foam as well and added a big old fabric flower in the middle. The next one, I used these happy birthday dies from Alina's shop and created a beautiful happy birthday card. I've got some kind of like spotted holographic cardstock, so I just cut that as a base because the inside is white. Cut myself a silver glitter circle to go behind it and finished off that card. This one I decided to do a congratulations on a baby card. So I've got It's a Boy, and I stacked it on the previous one and this one. I stacked them 3 times with those letters and glued them onto the front of the card. So this is a quick, easy, efficient way to use up those scraps that you've got hanging around. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do share it if you can in any groups you're in. I'd love to get more people subscribed and following. I'm trying my hardest to create some ideas here where we can really watch what we're spending, where we can still pay our bills but still enjoy crafting. So if you've enjoyed my video, please do share it. Make sure you like and subscribe and comment. And I will see you next weekend when I'm back in the UK. Take care and have a fabulous weekend. Bye.